Hello, so we're back again, and let's work on the phrase of the day. The phrase of the day today, of course, like you know, we are studying English, but also talking about fleet and mobility in Latin America, about this industry, and learning a little bit about English as well. So back. So the phrase of the day, the I guess is residual value, or the word of the day, residual value. So what is residual value? Residual value is how much a vehicle will be worth once it comes to the end of its life. So, for example, a new vehicle, so a fleet vehicle we're talking about. So, a fleet vehicle, a new vehicle, maybe it might be worth about $30,000. But that's when it's brand new. But when it finally leaves the fleet and it is remarketed, yeah, you could lose maybe almost half the price. So I don't know. So imagine it's at when you're remarketing the vehicle or scrapping the vehicle, it may have a residual value of only about $15,000. So depending on the vehicle. So what impacts residual value would be if you have an accident. Of course, if you have an accident, it reduces the residual value of your vehicle. High mileage, of course, high mileage is worth less when you resell the car or truck or whatever you got. And then there are certain brands where they don't retain the value as much as other brands. So it depends on the brand that you buy. So make sure you check that out. So nowadays during the pandemic, depending on the car you have, but you know a lot of fleets have lower mileage because people aren't traveling using their vehicles as much. Depends on the vehicle. If you're a logistics, have a logistics fleet, maybe you have higher mileage. But a lot of cars have lower mileage. So with lower mileage, you have a higher residual value, and so the resale value of the car is higher. So I don't know, maybe consider this or keep this in mind when you are managing your fleet. So let's go to the roll-in of me. It was like a few years ago. I actually corrected some English speakers. There's someone from Mexico, someone from Brazil, more than one person from Brazil, and an American in there. So let's check it out.
Hello, students. Today we're going to talk about. We're going to correct the English of five speakers. One is from Mexico, three are from Brazil, and one's American. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's 5. Anyway, so the first speaker, let's check it out. It's the president of Mexico, Enrique Peña Nieto.
Well, sorry if I don't speak English so well, but I try to make myself understand. I believe that the relation between Mexico and the United States needs to be closer, and we can make better efforts in the immigration politics.
Well, first he apologizes, which is, I guess it's nice, but you don't have to apologize. Remember that people, probably the person on the other side might not even speak your language that well. Who knows if the interviewer spoke Spanish as well as he spoke English, but don't worry too much about having to apologize, because I live in Brazil and a lot of people, they like to apologize. Sorry about my English. He said, I try to make myself understand. I think what he wants to say, I'll try to make myself understandable, or make myself understood. Also, he said immigration politics. That might be what he wants to talk about, but politics is related to what governments do. And maybe he was trying to talk about immigration policies, which is the policy is related to a rule that has been set forth, could be related to the government or not. So I'm not really sure if he wanted to say politics or not, but overall it was pretty good flow and he spoke pretty well. Number 2 is Renato Janin Ribeiro. He was the former education minister of Brazil.
Morning. I'd like to convey to all of you my best compliments as Minister of Education of Brazil, to tell you that it's a great moment for our country to host this meeting convened by the Brazilian Academy of Sciences that will discuss, that has been discussing since yesterday, and that will still discuss the whole day today.
Okay, so he spoke pretty well. It was a bit slow, but I think he wanted to make sure that it was clearly understood. Pretty good flow. A little bit confusion on when he wanted to describe when the discussion was taking place, because it actually started in the past, and then the discussion will continue in the future. So maybe he should have said something like that we have been discussing since yesterday, and will continue to discuss throughout the day today, or something like that. Our speaker number 4 is also from Brazil. He's a famous journalist. His name is William Wack, and the video is a bit old, so this is when he was younger.
In general theoretical terms, are there any theory today which, in your opinion, would help us try to understand what are the forces behind historical movements, since in a way the way that the dialect of Marxism or dialect materialism was used by the socialist countries has discredited this type of undertaking?
Okay, pretty good. A few mistakes in there. The pronunciation of general, he said it like general. Should be more like general. And he also said, are there any theory today? I think it should be, are there any theories today, in the plural? There was a question where he said, what are the forces behind historical movements? But before the word what, before the letter what, there were other words in front of it. So when you have words in front of it, you need to say what the forces behind historical movements are. So the verb to be has to go to the end of the sentence if there are words in front of this what. It could be what, where, when, why, who. If there are words in front of it, the verb to be needs to fly to the end of the sentence. So what the forces behind historical movements are. The pronunciation again of the word country sounded kind of like countries. It's very, very common in Latin American countries for them to say countries, country. And he also said the word has discredit. Has discredit should be has discredited. Has discredited. The next speaker is also from Brazil, Sergio Cabral, the former Rio de Janeiro governor.
Enjoying Rio, he's loving Rio, and he loved to meet the first Brazilian woman president of Brazil.
Okay, that was a very short text. He was with ex-president Dilma Rousseff, and seemed like they were having a good time there. But he said he loved to meet. I don't know, is he talking about the past or future? He should have said he loved meeting, or he would love to meet. So, yeah, he was referring to meeting President Dilma Rousseff, or ex-president, former President Dilma Rousseff. The last speaker is from the United States. Let's see how he does.
What it signals is the success of the surge that we put in a year and a half ago. And it also signals the seriousness with which we take transition.
Okay, so pretty good, former President Barack Obama. Good pronunciation, very clear, and usually foreigners tell me that Barack Obama is easy to understand. So 2 thumbs up for you. See you later. Okay. Until next time. Aloha. Hello. So hope you learned something from the video. And if you need English class, I give Skype class. I started here in Brazil, but now I give Skype class or online class anywhere around the world. Russia, Riga, China, Ni hao ma. And if you want live class, it's here in São Paulo. Okay? Information is here.
So let's take a look at how can we use this in fleet management. I'm going to focus more on what I noted about the ex-president or former president of Mexico, and in terms of question tags. So when you have a question in English, you could use various words, usually a WH, or how. So anyway, the words are for a question in English would be what, where, when, who, why, which, and how. You can't do a direct translation for these, but more or less, I guess in Portuguese, they would be o qué, aonde, quando, quem, por qué, cuál, y cómo. Most of the time, that's how they could be translated. So first of all, let's take a sentence or a question such as, where is the vehicle? So where is the vehicle? Imagine you put words in front of this WH, this where. For example, do you know? Okay, so the rule for the verb to be in this sentence is. Where is the vehicle? So when you put words in front of the WH or the where, like for example, do you know? Do you know where the vehicle is? Okay, so you see the rule for this is the verb to be flies to the end of the sentence. Where is the vehicle becomes, do you know where the vehicle is? Okay, don't say, do you know where is the vehicle? Might sound correct, but it's not. Okay, so that is the rule for verb to be, fly to the end. The second rule is for the verb to do. So if you have the verb to do in the sentence, it disappears. So, for example, where do they usually store their trucks? Okay, what does this mean? Store? Maybe you might think that store in Portuguese é loja, or in Espanol é tienda. But store also means like in Portuguese guardar, or in Espanol salvar. So where do they usually store their trucks? Now let's put words in front of the where. Could you tell me? So could you tell me where they usually store their trucks? You see that the verb to do just disappeared. So where do they usually store their trucks? Could you tell me where they usually store their trucks? So no do. So that's about it, I guess, for question tags. And if you have, you're making questions with one of these words and you have words in front of it, to be flies to the end of the sentence, to do disappears. Okay? So that's it. Talk to you guys later.